The time has finally come. The film event of the year has finally hit, and I just read news that it broke the highest grossing opening weekend. I knew it. I knew it would beat our Jurassic World, and this is awesome. Not to mention that this would be the, and who knows, we're probably gonna go towards the highest grossing film of all time. That's a hard bet. But to be honest, with all the people who are probably seeing this movie over and over and over and over again, and all those new people who are being introduced to the franchise, I'm betting on it. We finally came to this. So I was waiting so long to review on this. I actually saw it yesterday at 9 a.m. I wish I saw it at midnight, but I'd be too tired to fall asleep, and I missed it. I have to see it again, probably on at the same time. But we're here. It's finally here. Let's start it. Star Wars Episode 7: Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams, written by him, Lawrence Kasdan, and Michael Arndt. It's a continuation of the saga, starring Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o, Andy Serkis, Domhnall Gleeson, Anthony Daniels, Max von Sydow, Peter Mayhew, Gwendolyn Christie, Jonas oh, that's a Bido for Chewbacca. Okay. Even has Simon Pegg in there, but you never find out who he actually is. Sad. You also have Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, and this movie is set 30 years after Return of the Jedi, and this new threat called the First Order has arrived. And this new character, Rey, played by Daisy Ridley, gets involved in this adventure. John Boyega is this former stormtrooper, plays Finn, a former First Order stormtrooper who leaves and thus kind of runs into Rey, and BB-8 runs into Rey. Finn runs into them both, and thus the First Order and thus they go on this heavy adventure. And also you see Poe Dameron is a new character played by Oscar Isaac, and also you see some of the old characters, and of course you get one hell of a fun adventure, and actually one of my favorite films of the year. The excitement for this film is undeniable how much hype this film is getting, knowing the fact that this is another Star Wars film. This is directed by a Star Wars fan, J.J. Abrams, who says I think his favorite Star Wars film is Episode 4, New Hope. And not to mention the fact this film has so many things that are making me happy. Number one, they're getting a new cast involved. Should have bring back the old cast, and that left me a little concerned, but whatever. The trailers were great. You have such a very talented new cast coming in. It's gonna melt. It also is combining both visual and practical effects. Not to mention, it's when you have the fact that this guy really is probably, and knowing the fact you have people who are devoted and probably more fond of the original trilogy than the prequels, you probably know that they're gonna try to make this film a worthy installment, and something that the prequels probably should have been. Now, I love the original trilogy, I do. Episode 6 is the weakest, in my opinion. The Ewoks, they played their part, but it's a little ridiculous, and I can see why some people don't like them. They're a little cutesy, but they did play a part. It's not horrible, I don't hate them, it's just a little ridiculous. It's a small complaint when you think about it. Episode 4 they have a lot of issues with production, but it triumphed. George Lucas introduced us to this universe. Episode 5 expanded upon it, and it was the high point of the series. It proved that it's more than just a fun space adventure. It has a deeper meaning to it. Episode 6 was a good conclusion. Episode 1, the start of the prequel trilogy, was disappointing. Episode 2 was once again another disappointment. But Episode 3 was a surprise for everyone, because it actually did something right. Episode 1 had an annoying character in Jar Jar Binks, not to mention it just had bad dialogue, very stiff performances, and also introduced midi-chlorians, which was one of the biggest mistakes Lucas made. Lucas made all the prequels, and to be honest, I wish he did something more. Because to be honest, I think if he had different other creative people involved, I think they would have been a much better series. Now, it could not be the original trilogy, don't get me wrong on that. It wouldn't even come close. But it'd be something more worthy. However, it would still be considered worthy by fans. Like, everyone would agree that yes, this is another fantastic, another epic installment to the franchise. But unfortunately, political debacle didn't make it easy. Episode 2 had a bad romance, bad dialogue as well, way too much CGI. I think it used it the most. I don't know if it used it the most. I think it did. Episode 1 also used a lot of CGI, and it does look dated, both in 1 and 2. 3 has some, but whatever, I'll get to that later. And 2 just didn't work. It just has memes surrounding it. Jar Jar Binks is in it less, but he did cause the creation of the Galactic Empire. It's obvious. The action scenes are probably my least favorite of all the ones in the original trilogy, in this trilogy. And overall, I don't know if it's my least favorite or not. I gotta watch them again. Episode 3, however, was a surprise. This one actually was good. Is it fantastic? Oh, absolutely not. But because it does have some issues with some CGI, especially in the walking scenes. Dialogue is still bad, though I will say it is better. And some of the acting is a bit stiff, though for the most part, I do think some performances were heavily improved. Particularly Ian McDiarmid and Ewan McGregor. They really came to their own. Hayden Christensen was a little better, but he still was very stiff. Natalie Portman, still pretty stiff. Everyone, basically. The action scenes were much better, though pretty choreographed. This one felt like it had a meaning to it. It actually was pretty emotional at times. Not to mention, it had much more weight to it. Because number one, it had a much sharper focus, and also it felt more like a Star Wars film. And at the time, it was supposed to be the conclusion of the saga, and while not perfect, I thought it was satisfying. And especially the concluding minute, the last few minutes concluding it. Sure, Padme's death was pretty half-assed, but other than that, there are some issues with it. But overall, it was a satisfying conclusion, and I love those minutes. Just like complete. Just like setting up the original, setting up the events leading up to the original trilogy. I mean, it's just something I love, And ending it with Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen holding baby Luke and staring at the twin sons and playing that theme, I thought was perfect. And of course, we have another Star Wars film, and how is it? It has its faults, but overall, I have to say this, guys. Maybe you may criticize me being a fanboy, but I'm gonna say it. I absolutely loved it. It is a fantastic installment in the series. I don't know. I think it could be even. Who knows? It could probably be better than Return of the Jedi. But to be honest, even if that's the case, you still can't beat episodes 4 and 5, mostly based on their legacy. But this is such a great addition to the legacy of Star Wars, and it's such a triumphant return to the big screen. It proves the series has so much life in it. And with all these films they're having planned out, I'm excited. Give me more, man. Seriously, this is the first Star Wars film I've seen in theaters. That makes me sad because the prequels came out when I was in theaters. Now, sure, of course, why the prequels? I'd probably see episode 3 in theaters. Yeah, I probably would have saw episode 3 because I was 7 when that came out. I was 7. If I had gotten into Star Wars that time, I could have probably seen that. Actually, I don't think I probably would have, actually. Because it was the first ever PG-13 Star Wars film. Now, this is PG-13, and I'm betting all the other ones that come after it are PG-13 as well. I have to say this. I mean, one of my friends thought, Disney's doing it. It's going to be like a Disney film. Oh, hell no. It is not for kids. This is a dark film. This is pretty dark at times. But it still retains the fun, the spirit, the adventure of the original trilogy. This is what I loved about it so much. Because it's truly original trilogy. Though some people may criticize it being derivative, I'll get to that in my issues. But let's get the positives out. This is just a worthy installment of the franchise. Everyone in the cast is great. The old and the new, perfect. They mesh seamlessly. Daisy Ridley, truly loved her as Rey. She's a person that has a lot of personality. You relate to her, kind of like Luke in Episode 4, New Hope. I will get to the structure later on. Not exactly it's a bad thing, I'm just saying there's something about it that kind of caught me off guard. Well, you know what I mean. I mean, she's just great. I love Rey. She's great in the action scenes. She's a strong female character. I just like seeing that they're having a lot of strong female characters in action films. However, my favorite is still Imperator Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road. I mean, you can't beat her. Forget Black Widow. She's the best. I love Daisy Ridley, though. She just has a lot of good humor. She has a lot of good humanity. She has a lot of great in the action scenes. She adds a lot to this film. She's a great new character. Everyone is. John Boyega as Finn, he has a lot of personality, but you really see a person who's damaged by his life as a stormtrooper, just seeing things he doesn't want to see. It's just, no, he's just tortured by it. But he's also just a fun character. I love him. He has a lot of charisma. He's a lot of fun. I couldn't get enough of him. Also, I just loved BB-8. He was just such a fun droid. I loved him. There's actually this one scene where he kind of does something in the form of thumbs up, and I I was laughing. My theater was laughing pretty hard, and I actually was laughing too because it was just so funny. So I won't deny the character's just so much charm. If anyone that was concerned about BB-8, don't worry. Effective comedic relief, but also you have C-3PO back, and of course he's also very good comedic relief. It's Anthony Daniels. Come on. You just can't deny how great it is just having these characters being so fun and enjoyable. Of course, you have R2-D2 back. He's not back for a while. Like he's not in the film that much, but I do like him though for what he gets. He's pretty good, and I do like them being fun characters. They're just fun. Poe Dameron, I do like him. Oscar Isaac does a great job. He just creates a character that's just a lot of fun. He's just a fun character, and he is in a lot, not always, but I think he left enough of an impression on me. You know, he had a good setup. His character was set up pretty well, and seeing him again, and he's not in the film completely, but I would love to see more of him in future films. Harrison Ford, I mean, for any of you who are concerned about him, because, you know, if you guys... Yeah, I'll show you my poster. Yes, you've seen it before. You know I hold that poster up. But the thing is, don't worry, he nailed it. Because number one, he's good in the action scenes. He still has that sense of humor. He still has that persona that we all love him at, that he had in the original trilogy. He was just perfect, in my opinion. Sure, he's more accepting of, you know, of the Force, unlike how he was in Episode 4. But whatever. It truly was just great seeing him back. He's great in the action scene. Same for Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. He's just so cool. I love that character. He's just everything. You have the classic sound effects. I mean, Chewbacca's just great. The chemistry between him and Han Solo is just perfect. I love everyone as a team. Han Solo and Finn also work well together. Finn and Rey, they have great chemistry. Everyone is a team. Like, you know, Chewbacca, Finn, Rey, Han Solo, they all have great chemistry. I also love BB-8. Like I said, screw Jar Jar Binks. And to be honest, I gotta watch the film again to see if there's any reference. Like, I mean, I think it was something like Abrams said in like an article that he would like put like his bone that Abrams would put his bones down the desert, maybe on Jakku. But I don't know. Maybe he was just teasing us. All I know is there's no Jar Jar Binks here. If I've seen any reference that showed him maybe dead, I didn't see it. I love Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. You know, she's just so fun. I love the back and forth between her and Han. They're great together. They're just, I mean, it's just nice seeing them together again. It's also just really funny. I mean, this film looked very serious. It looks like it could be fun, but they just didn't show a lot of humor there. They actually showed a lot more serious stuff. And the movie has a lot of good serious stuff. It has a lot of good emotional depth to it, and the emotion is handled so well. But so is the humor. So is the entertainment value. Handled so well. Like, it's just so fun. It's also so funny. I actually laughed several times. Not to mention, also, you have some great action scenes. The dogfights are fantastic. The lightsaber duels, whenever they're there, whenever a person uses a lightsaber, perfect. I mean, they just use the Force in the way that the original trilogy set it up to be. It treats the Force like a surrounding force that binds all living things together. Not midichlorians, thank God. No more biological crap. The mythological stuff. This series is just true to the mythology of Star Wars and the influences surrounding it. That inspired it. And, man, it's just nice seeing this series. It's just proof. But also, one thing I loved about it, this continually expands the universe. Jakku's a new world. There's also this other planet that I don't want to spoil, really. But I forgot. There's also another planet that I forgot that I think could be a bit of a setting in the next film. But it's just great, though. I mean, Jesus, this is great. I mean, you're seeing this universe still expand. There's so much stories left to tell. It's great. How's Starkiller Base? Yes, it's like a third Death Star, and I won't deny it has much more of a presence, and of course, it probably has more power than the Death Star originally had. Because, I mean, the Death Star only destroyed, like, one world, and it was about to destroy another, but luckily it was blown up. The second Death Star didn't do anything. It wasn't even finished, for God's sake. This is like a third Death Star, and I won't deny it. It kind of feels derivative, but I won't deny that it had much more of a presence, and it was pretty cool seeing. And I won't deny it was kind of cool. This film has a lot of nostalgia there, and to be honest, it's probably a lot for the fans. And I won't deny, I love seeing some of this old stuff here. It's just nice seeing the old stuff here. The way they combine visual and practical effects, loved it. The visual effects are great, and not to mention the practical effects are also good. I love these miniatures, actual sets. Perfect. The CGI is great. This film's undeniably getting... Come on. How did this film not be nominated for an Oscar for Best Visual Effects? Come on. There's so many great things about it. I mean, wow. I mean, the more expansion of the universe, the action scenes are great. I love the dog. I mean, seriously, in the finale, and circular base, you know what's going to happen there. It is so much fun. The movie's so fun. It's suspenseful times. It has tension there. This is what the prequels really lacked. Even Episode 3. And Episode 3 did have some good moments. Had some great moments. But this one had, well, this lightsaber fights are not overly choreographed. They have good motion. There's good way behind them. And Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, loved him. He was outstanding. He's not a complete copy of Darth Vader. Nope. Loved him. I also liked Andy Serkis as his character. Yeah, I liked him too. Lupita Nyong'o also is great. And man, it's hard for me not to spoil anything. I really am. Yeah. But I won't deny this. There's so much to love about it. It just proves Star Wars has so much life in it. Mark Hamill's in it, yes. But he's in it not enough. I'll get to it. And I might try to do more of a spoiler review. I'll do a spoiler review maybe in a few days. But I'm just so happy how this film turned out. This film is truly satisfying as a whole. Now, it's not exactly a completely perfect film. Like, for example, let's look at Episode 4, New Hope. Is the acting great? Maybe not all the time. Is some of the dialogue kind of bad? Maybe. Episode 4, what else could be bad about it? You could say that there are some bloopers there. There are some mistakes they had. I mean, like, you could say, you know, of course, the stormtrooper banging us down the door. Yeah, that was missed in editing. But that film still is so groundbreaking filmmaking. I still love it no matter what. Episode 7 does have its fair share of problems. Even though, like, the main characters played by Andy Serkis and Lupita Nyong'o were done by motion capture, and even though CGI I thought it was pretty good, it was a little bit obvious. It was a little obvious. I think it was kind of, Nyong'o looked a little bit CGI. She kind of stood out a little bit because the scenes she are in, they're surrounded by real sets. And, you know, real costumes. So it does stick out a little bit. Is it bad? Not completely. It's a little noticeable, but there's so much about the character that I like that's kind of a small complaint. Same for Andy Serkis' character. CGI work, I think, is kind of like, you know, it's good. I think it's a little good. And I do like how they tease the character as well. I like the character, how they teased him, I guess you can say. I liked him. Also, I like Domhnall Gleeson as... back to positive, I do like Domhnall Gleeson in the movie as well. I forgot about him. Shit. But Gleeson is very good. I do like him, you know, yeah. However, I won't deny that this movie does feel very derivative of the original trilogy, particularly Episode 4, New Hope. And Quentin Tarantino actually doesn't like it for that case, and that's fine. If you think it's very derivative, that is fine. But you know what? Something about it, is it for the best? Maybe. Could the blending of nostalgia and all new things always work for people? Maybe not. But for me, this one works for me. And people are going to complain about the cliffhanger, I want more. We are getting more films. We're getting Episode 8 and 9. We're getting Rogue One next year. So we're getting more, so you better calm down. I mean, basically, probably the intention. I thought it was a good cliffhanger. It couldn't have ended any... To be honest, maybe it's the best way to end it, because you know what? For me, it worked. How's Captain Phasma in the film? She has a cool presence to her, and it's nice seeing more female characters, and I do like her for some scenes she has. But I won't deny she was pretty underused. I think she's supposed to be reprising her role in Episode 8. Don't know how that'll work, but, yeah. Let's go back to Kylo Ren, because I don't think I elaborate on him much. He has motivation. He has, pretty much a back... you know a bit about him as a character. He's good. Adam Driver really amazed me. I mean, this guy... I saw him in one movie also this year, While We're Young, but that's not even close to being the character you'd expect him to be. Also, he's in the show Girls. That is such a far cry from this, and I have to say, he nailed it. Abrams just directs this film like it's just so fun. It blends humor and drama so well. The action is great. It's just a great Star Wars film. I can't deny it. No movie is truly perfect when you think about it. But some of these issues I have with it are just so small for me. I really don't care. I thought the film ended pretty well, and to be honest, when this film was done, I was clapping. I clapped. Captain Phasma, I do like Christine Sijen. Maybe I don't know, I wasn't really I don't know what to expect from her in all honesty, and sure, I could have liked a little bit more of her, but I was fine with it. Poe Dameron, maybe some more of him. I think we're getting him more in episode 8. Does that completely excuse it? No, it doesn't, in my opinion, but I think they gave him probably enough to do, and I did like him. I liked him. He was just so fun, so charismatic, and just, he's such a great new character. Just everyone really is. No truly bad character there. Yes, it feels very derivative of A New Hope. It does feel very derivative. I won't deny it. It takes some influence. So, yeah, even the original trilogy in general. But here's the thing about this. Just, for some reason, I didn't really care. Because these characters are so enjoyable, and it's just nice showing that this series still has so much life left in it. They're still expanding the universe so much. There's so many more worlds to discover and explore. So many more stories left to tell. This is such an exciting reintroduction to the big screen for Star Wars. I mean, how could you not be excited? How could you not... I can't put myself into words sometimes. This is just everything I wanted a Star Wars film to be. It's everything I wanted the prequels to be. That's what the prequels should have been. Fun, exciting, compelling. There's anything that's really compelling in terms of story, it's episode 3 without a doubt, but not perfect. In its own way, it's perfect, I guess. I don't know, to be honest, maybe it copied off maybe it had that derivative structure for a reason, because that's what it works, because maybe that's when Star Wars is at its best, when it has a similar structure, space battles, compelling story, and just having fun characters and having lots of dogfights. I mean, this is what makes Star Wars so much fun. I mean, Episode 5 and 6 had some changes to that as well. Sure, Episode 5 expanded the universe again, and of course gave the Force more meaning. 6 was kind of a follow-up on that, and to be honest, yeah. Wasn't always perfect, but it still worked. Episode 7 is just kind of like that. To be honest, if you're going to compare it to the original trilogy, you can may think some of the things are superior, such as Episode 4 and 5. I think they are better, obviously. But 7 is still a film worthy of the Star Wars name. It has so many great action, great characters, so much fun. I mean, it's just the start of a whole new trilogy. Not to mention having spin-off films. I'm so excited for Rogue One next year. I want to see it. Same for Episode 8 and 9. And knowing of all different people they're having involved in the franchise, both in front and behind the camera. I mean, wow. This is just so great. So many people are influenced by Star Wars, and some people are contributing to Star Wars, creating a new franchise for a new generation of fans, and just overall, they're giving us so much. Oh my god. Thank you, Disney, for buying Lucasfilms. Thank you, J.J. Abrams, for bringing the series back to big screen. Thank you, everyone involved. You created you created one of my favorite films of the year, and you created a film truly worthy of Star Wars' name. This is an edition that this is a film that I won't forget anytime soon. I want to see it again. It has its faults, don't get me wrong, but I just don't care though. And maybe you can say I'm fanboying out there, and fine, go with it, but for me, I'm not afraid to say this. I truly loved it. I loved it. Of course, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, gets a 5 out of 5. Come on, how could you not expect it? Is it my favorite film of the year? I'm not too sure of that, but I won't deny it. I left the theater so satisfied and demanding to see the next installments. I'm so excited for what the series has to offer now. I'm so excited for the new trilogy and the spin-off films. Star Wars is back. It is back. Big time, and I'm just so happy. I left satisfied. I will do a spoiler review. Anyways, guys, comment below. What did you think of Star Wars Episode 7: Force Awakens? Did it live up to your expectations? Did it not? How do you compare it to the original trilogy? How would you rank it for the Star Wars films? How many times have you seen it? Have you seen all of them? 2D, 3D, IMAX? And are you excited for the new films to come after this? You know I am. Thanks for watching, guys, and subscribe to my channel for more videos.